My reaction was it was good. I felt it. I felt that this was an unusual writer writing about something that he felt, that he thought was personal and felt that way. And I love writing that's personal. So I got to see him again, and then he told me more about it. Because when it's a series, there's a lot of episodes in it. So I just read the first episode. And then he told me about where it was going and stuff. So it's complicated. It's a complex character. I'm happy to say in a way because it gives you more to act and work with. So I don't know. It's he is a bit of a mystery, and part of what he is also is something you find out in the course of the series more and more. They stand for survival, and they stand for a kind of retribution and a kind of hope.
I play Biff Simpson, and he is a sweet member of the Carter administration in the 70s and has some secrets. And Amazon is used to throwing out some incredible television, and I kind of feel like Hunters is going to fit right in. Well, it's the 70s, and Al is a survivor, and he has gotten together a group of people to round up all of those Nazis that have found their way in the United States. It took me 6 months to grow terrible sideburns. But everything about the show, it was, there was a certain looseness to it. The writing just was fantastic. Brought you right into the time, brought you right into the seriousness of it, but it's also funny, and so that's a good combination.
Well, my first reaction was, well, this is an evil character and far beyond anything I've ever done before. But that was what interested me about it. It's I'm always playing very nice English boys, so I wanted something to push me, and I can't get much further away from who I am as a person than a neo-Nazi psychopath hitman. So he's one of these characters that is just almost at home in any situation, and yes, his motivation really comes from wanting to exert his own power and control over the world around him, and the neo-Nazis sort of allow him to do that. He's allowed to be the most psychopathic version of himself that he can be. So yeah, that's why he's doing what he's doing. Sure. So there's like 3 camps in the show. There's the Nazis, the Hunters, and the FBI. And the Nazis, so there's me, there's Lena Olin, there's Dylan Baker. We're like the head of the Nazis, and we, throughout the show, we're obviously trying to bring about the Fourth Reich in America in the 70s, and I've got to say, they're both the most lovely people you'll ever meet. Lena is fantastic, Dylan's fantastic. It was an inspiration working with those guys.
Well, I've never seen a Nazi hunting show set in the 1970s, first of all, so the plot is kind of outrageous and fun and weird and sad and scary and thrilling, and I mean it's just a lot of things. It moves all over the world. It moves back and forth through time, and it's just it's really fun, but it's really about something all at the same time. His name is Lonnie Flash. His original name is Leonard Flashenstein, and he's a movie star, a really talented guy who's battled addiction, and he's kind of fallen into a lifestyle and trying to, his movie career, let's say, has gone off the rails, and he's was invited to kill some Nazis, and he thought, well, maybe this is a path towards redemption. So 3 words, I don't know, bold, brash, and vulnerable. I don't know. We'll see. You'll have to watch. Yeah.
when I first read the script, I went, how could they possibly want me for this? This is too amazing. I mean, I play Sister Harriet, who is a nun, an ex-MI6 spy nun who wants to kill a lot of Nazis, and she has reasons as well, besides the obvious. So reading that and realizing what a fabulous character she was, I just wanted to get into that habit straight away. I think because it's a bit of everything. It's kind of genreless. It's kind of created its own genre in a way, and so there's a lot of laughs in there, obviously. But of course, it's about a really heartbreaking moment in history that tends to repeat itself over and over and over. So But that's what they'll get out of it. They'll get a really wild ride and a fun time, yeah.
Oh, I was just blown away with the writing. I thought it was really exciting. Thought there was a character there for me that I could potentially, try to do justice, try to figure out, fully realize with this team. But it was just a really good script, and I just wanted to know more. I just wanted to see the other episodes. Oh, David and Nikki are just brilliant. They're a great team. And great collaborators, really open-minded and hard-working, dedicated. Also just bold and ambitious. They wanted, when I first met with them and talked to them about the show, they just had really ambitious ideas to incorporate a lot of different, tones and things into this series about hunting Nazis. And I thought that was really cool. I was like, to throw a dance sequence into a show about hunting Nazis in 1977 is a really bold thing to do, and those are the people you want to be working with. Those are the people you want to be collaborating with. So. Oh, there's so much cool stuff about making a show that takes place in the 70s in New York. To have the backing that Amazon gave to this show allowed the production designers and the wardrobe and the hair designers and makeup, everybody in every department to, flourish and really recreate this world in a special way.
It's not quite like anything I've ever read, yeah. And so I knew I wanted to be a part of it right away. I played Joe Mizushima. He's a Vietnam vet, and in 3 words I'd say he is damaged, hurt, and also a child. I mean, come on, look, like glamorous. Are you kidding me? No, the nicest showrunners I've ever worked with. They're the best. Collaborative, creative, and yet great leaders. They instilled a great kind of family on set, family environment, and we all kind of get along because of it. And I'm really, really proud of the work they've done.
David Weil is the creator and the EP. He's a guy I've known for a while. And did know for several years. And when I got this passion project from him, I didn't know what to think at first. And as I started reading the pages, I fell in love with it. This is a show that I wish I just wanted to watch more than anything else. I wanted to skip the process of making it and just watch it. And so now we're here, and so that's why tonight's a celebration. Well, I think that there's a catharsis that comes with this show, okay? I mean, there was this moment when, Get Out was about to come out. It felt like there was something happening in the ether. It felt like there was a certain illumination coming to this issue of racism. I think this idea of Nazis in America embedded in our system is one that is very close to home right now. And so I feel like when David pitched me this show, when I read this show, I felt a similar moment as the moment that when Get Out hit.
I got a beautiful letter from David Weil, and he's telling me the story and why it was important to him, and after reading it, I realized how personal it was to me too. It's so much about outsiders trying to find their place in the world, and I really identify with Jonah's character. And it was an important story and message to get out in the world right now. And it's also in the horrific side of the story, and it's so much about immigrants not being considered humans. And it's really spoke to me on a lot of levels, and also stylistically, how can you achieve this? It's a challenging piece for a filmmaker, balancing the humor and the horror and the comedy in a way that the emotions felt real. So it was a challenge, and it was a personal one too. It was a process. I mean, I looked to a lot of still photography as inspiration, and then I collaborated with Fred Elms, the cinematographer who was behind Blue Velvet and Eraserhead and Ice Storm. a lot of the Jarmusch movies that really inspired me. And together we worked on creating a palette, and every color had a meaning. All those colors were rules that all the departments kind of adhered to, from costumes to production design to lighting. And a red meant something, green meant something, secrecy or innocence. And then you can see it all in wallpaper, tie patterns. There's a lot of work that went into it that we all did together.
Yeah, when I first read the script, I kind of thought, what is this? I've never read anything like this. I don't know how they're going to make this happen. But for me, I'm always looking for projects that are speaking to things that are going on right now, something that has a message that can start a conversation. And that's exactly what this is. And it's doing it in a way that no one's ever seen before. So I was like, okay, sign me up. Okay. I play Roxy Jones. She's the fixer in the group of hunters. She's a lock picker. She's a crime scene cleaner. She can fight. She knows how to shoot a gun. She can do it all, pretty much. She's a badass. 3 words: strong, vulnerable, and I'll use it again, badass. Yeah. Last question. Well, one, I love the fashion so much of that time. Like, it's my favorite decade for fashion. So it was like all of us just getting together and looking amazing. The music is great. Just transporting back to a time that, had Studio 54 and everyone was free, It's very different than today. And I think it's a great time to be making a show set then, yeah.
It all started with my grandmother. Her name was Sarah Weil. She was a survivor of Auschwitz and Bergen-Belsen. And she would tell me and my brothers the stories of her experience. And at such a young age, I was like 5, 6 years old when I first started to hear these stories. They felt like the stuff of comic books, superheroes. It was the only way that I could actually understand the horrors that she went through. And I would say, getting older, I struggled with that notion of birthright and legacy and responsibility. How would I continue her story? And Hunters became the answer. It really became this sort of love letter to my grandmother, this desire to be this Jewish superhero and depict Jewish superheroes, black superheroes, a Japanese-American superhero, a band of others who we rarely see reclaim power. And it also became this desire to shed light on hidden crimes and hidden truths. They are all driven, I think, by a feeling of otherness, a feeling of violence being perpetrated against them. They all have dealt with white supremacy in some way. And so this ragtag group kind of bands together to reclaim justice and vengeance and just become superheroes in their own right. Oh my God, what a great question. I think this is certainly an allegorical tale, right? It's set in 1977, but I think it has echoes and reverberations of 2020 America. And only, our heroes are only as great as their villains are strong. But I think you'll see sort of details and touchstones about them, things that they say, clothing that they may wear, that have echoes to 2020 America.
There was numerous conversations about different ways to tackle sort of the ambition of the show, is that we exist in different time periods. There's a number of different tones that we had to sort of conquer. So I think that we had numerous conversations with Alfonso Gomez-Rion, who directed our pilot, and Fred Elms, who was our wonderful cinematographer, and our production designer, Kurt Beach, to develop a color language, a visual style, so that when we were in different time periods, we were able to distinguish it and yet still make it feel a part of a piece. I think that one of the things that attracted me to this project was that I thought it was so bold and so original and so different, and we hadn't seen anything like this. I mean, there's few things that you read that truly take your breath away, and I feel like everybody that has been involved with this project, from Jordan Peele to Al Pacino to David Weil to myself to the cast and crew, have had like a childlike enthusiasm about being a part of this project. I think it's an incredibly poignant show. I think that it's a show that celebrates what it means to be other, what it means to be Jewish, and it's a show that says that anybody in this world, no matter what you look like or where you come from, can don a vigilante cape and take back power.
Well, Hannah plays my daughter in this series, and for me, it was instantly relevant because my parents are survivors, and I grew up with these stories, and Hannah has personal connection to it as well.
Yes, my best friend in middle school, as we were learning about the Holocaust and about World War II, it turns out her great-grandfather was an SS officer. So we were kind of finding out about that together, holding hands. And to see the intersection now of survivors and perpetrators, but put into this like fun universe, was just immediately just like grabbed your whole attention.
It has a lot of tools in its box to tell the story, a lot of different techniques. It's surprising. I mean, just when you think you've understood it and you know what it is, it'll surprise you. It isn't a simple story about revenge on bad people. It's about the consequences of carrying out violent revenge. And these people, these hunters, are not people who are not Mission Impossible. They are ordinary people, and each of them has their own reasons for doing it and for staying in it or not wanting to stay in it. So I think the audience is going to connect to the bonds of these hunters and what they have to go through in order to keep at it. And also, it's surprisingly funny.